Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to use angle facts to find missing angles. So we've got 4 success criteria, and the first one is to use basic angle facts. So there are lots of different angle facts that you need to remember, and it's good to have a fact file to be able to refer to when answering angle questions until you become confident with these. So the first angle fact is that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Now these angles have to be adjacent to each other or next to each other on a straight line. And think of a sunset to help you remember it. So if we want to find the missing angle x, we can add 65 and 39 degrees together, so that makes 104, and take it away from 180 because they need to all add up to 180 degrees. So the answer is 76 degrees. The next angle fact is that angles around a point add up to 360 degrees. So if we want to find angle x, we add together 123 degrees and 176 degrees, so we get 299, and we take that away from 360. So the missing angle is 61 degrees. The next angle fact is that vertically opposite angles are equal. So in a cross, the angles opposite each other will be the same size. So if we want to find the size of the angle x, well, the angle opposite it is 135 degrees, so x must be 135 degrees. If we want to find angle y, we can simply take that away from 180 because they're on a straight line next to each other, so it must be 45 degrees. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, and there's your red answers. So now we've completed success criteria 1. So now we'll move on to 2, and this is to calculate missing angles in triangles and quadrilaterals. So angles in a triangle will always add up to 180 degrees. Now they've got to be inside the triangle, so there's 3 angles inside a triangle. So if we want to find angle x, we can add together 60 and 50 and take that away from 180. So the missing angle x is 70 degrees. There are 3 different types of triangles that you need to be aware of, and each of them have different angle properties that you need to know. So first of all, we've got an equilateral triangle, and that has 3 equal sides and 3 equal angles. The next is an isosceles triangle, and that has 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. And it's the base angles in an isosceles triangle that are equal, so the ones at the ends of the lines with dashes through them. We've also got a scalene triangle, and that has no equal sides and no equal angles. If we want to find the size of angle x, so this is an isosceles triangle, and these 2 angles are going to be the same size. So if we take 120 away from 180, so the 2 base angles must add up to 60. And if they're both the same, we can divide it by 2, so both angles are 30 degrees. In this question, if you want to find the size of angle x, well, it's an isosceles triangle again, so those 2 angles there must be the same size. So we can say that one's 70. So to find the missing angle, if we add those together and then take it away from 180, so the missing angle must be 40 degrees. Another angle fact is that angles in a quadrilateral, that's a four-sided shape, add up to 360 degrees. So if we want to find the size of angle Y, remember that square is 90 degrees. So we can add those angles together and take it away from 360. So Y is 80 degrees. There are 6 different types of quadrilaterals that you need to be aware of, and each of them have their own angle properties that you need to know. So there's a square, and that has 4 equal sides and 4 angles of 90 degrees, and it's got 2 pairs of parallel sides. The rectangle has 2 pairs of equal sides and 4 angles of 90 degrees. A trapezium, which has 1 pair of parallel sides. An isosceles trapezium has 2 pairs of equal angles, so that's where the 2 sides are both the same length. We've also got a rhombus, which is like a pushed over square. That's got 4 equal sides, the opposite angles are equal, and it's got 2 pairs of parallel sides. We've got a parallelogram, and that's like a pushed over rectangle. That's got 2 pairs of equal sides, the opposite angles are equal again, and 2 pairs of parallel sides. We've also got a kite. It's got 2 pairs of equal sides and 1 pair of opposite equal angles. So to recap, the opposite angles in a rhombus are equal, so that's the ones that are opposite each other, that face opposite each other. The opposite angles in a parallelogram are also equal, and a kite just has 1 pair of equal angles. So in a kite, it's these 2 angles that are equal, the ones that are both labelled x. So we can find the size of x by taking 85 and 45 away from 360. So the 2 x's must add up to 230 degrees. And if they're both the same, we can divide 230 by 2. So they're both 115 degrees. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So this is a parallelogram. So that angle must be 72 degrees because the opposite angles are the same. So if we take both 72 degrees away from 360, and then we divide 216 by 2, angle Z and the angle opposite it must be 108 degrees. For this question, if we want to find the size of angle Y, that's known as an exterior angle because it's on the outside of the triangle, we need to find the missing angle inside the triangle first of all. So we take 20 and 80 away from 180. So that angle there must be 80 degrees. And then it's on a straight line with Y. So 80 and Y must add up to 180 because they're on a straight line. So Y must be 100 degrees. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, we know 130 degrees is an opposite angle, and opposite angles are equal, so that angle there must be 130 degrees. And then we've got the angles inside a quadrilateral, so if we add those together and take it away from 360, we get 40 degrees. So angle X is 40 degrees. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, and there's your red answers. So now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to use angle facts to explain how to calculate missing angles. So you need to be able to use 3-letter notation for angles. So we want to work out how many degrees is angle ACB. Well, if we go from A to C, and then from C to B, the angle that we want is the one in between, so it's the middle angle. So a good point is to just look at the middle letter, and that's the angle that you want. So what is the 3-letter notation for the 64-degree angle? So we can start at C, then go to B, and then go to A. So that would be CBA. Now the beginning and end letter are normally written in alphabetical order. So we could have gone from A to B to C as well. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So for the 45-degree angle, we could start at X and go from X to Z, and then from Z to Y. So that would be X, Z, Y. Here's another question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So we want the size of YXZ. So we start at Y and go to X, and then go to Z, and it's the angle in the middle, so it's 72 degrees. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, and there's your amber answers. So at GCSE, you also need to be able to give a reason for each stage of your working. So if we have a look at this question here, we want to find the size of the angle marked X and give a reason. So write down each angle fact you use before doing the calculation. So we know angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if we do 17 plus 53, which is 70, and take that away from 180, we know angle ACD is 110 degrees. So that angle there is 110 degrees. We know angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So that means the angle X and 110 must add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 110, that's 70. So angle X is 70 degrees. Let's have a look at this question. We want to work out the size of the angle marked B and give reasons for our answers. So we know angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. So we know angle ABD is 104 degrees. We know angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So angle CBD is 76 degrees. Then we can say angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So angle BDC is 65 degrees. And finally, angles around a point add up to 360 degrees. So angle B is 237 degrees. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So for this question, we want to work out the size of the angle X and give reasons for our answers. Well, angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So angle ACB must be 118 degrees. And we also know angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, and the base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal. So if we take that away from 180 degrees, we get 62, and half 62. So angle X is 31 degrees. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, and there's your amber answers. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now we're going to move on to number 4, and this is to apply to problem solving questions. So you can be asked some more challenging questions involving angle facts, which link into other topics. So try the next few challenge questions to get a feel for these questions. So angles and equations. So we want to find the size of the smallest angle. So we form an equation using one of our angle facts. Angles in a quadrilateral we know add up to 360 degrees. So if I add all these angles together, it'll equal 360. So simplify, which makes 11x plus 30. Then we can solve this equation. So take 30 off both sides and divide both sides by 11. So x must be 30 degrees. Always reread the question at the end to check you've fully answered it. So we want the size of the smallest angle, and the smallest angle is going to be x plus 9. So we know x is 30, so 30 plus 9 is 39 degrees. So that's our final answer. In this question, we want to show that the triangle is an isosceles triangle. So we know angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if we add all these angles together, we'll get 180. If we simplify it, we get 15x, and we need to solve this equation. So we divide both sides by 15, so x equals 12. So if we find the size of all three angles, now we know what x is, and we can see two of those angles are the same size. So this must mean that the triangle is an isosceles triangle, because two of the angles are the same. Here are 4 questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. Here are your answers. So we can also get questions involving angles and ratio. So if you're unsure about ratio, make sure you watch the video on dividing into ratios. So we're told the ratio of x to y is 3 to 5. So what is the size of angle BCD? So we know angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So the total of angles x and y, when we add x and y together, it must make 160 degrees. So angles x and y are in the ratio 3 to 5. That's a total ratio of 8. We know that the total of those angles must be 160. So think about, what do we do to 8 to make 160? We times by 20. So we times both the ratios by 20 as well. That means angle x is 60 and angle y is 100. Now we want the size of angle BCD, and we know angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So if we take 100 away from 180, that means the answer is 80 degrees. Here are 4 questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, your amber answer, your red answer, and your purple answer. So now we've completed success criteria 4. Now we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the other videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.